Hello, good evening. This is Sibylle from Wild Spirits Coaching. Hi, welcome everyone. As usual, the first couple of minutes will probably be taken up by people joining this training because Facebook always takes a while to notify people that I'm live. So I'm going to spend those the first couple of minutes, first of all, telling you what I'm going to do, what this training is going to be about, the next 10, maximum 15 minutes, and what it refers to. So every Monday at this time, I do a small live training on, which is usually deepens the training, the subject of the article that was published that same morning on Monday morning in my newsletter, Monday Sparkles. Monday Sparkles is a newsletter that has a lot of live information. It has free information, inspiration, coaching magic, I call it, special offers that are exclusive to subscribers, and one main article. And the main article is also published on my website, so if you missed it this week, don't worry about it. You can still read it after the training. So the website is wildspiritscoaching.com. The link is in the description to this video. And if you're on Wild Spirits Coaching, you will see the blog. And the latest blog article is called NLP Hacks to Transform Your Life. And that was basically about NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and how it can change and transform your life. There's some really simple techniques. Obviously, NLP is a very deep and extensive study, and you can do so much with it, but you actually have to get some training for it. But there's also there's some really easy techniques that you can use, and they can make a huge impact and a huge difference to your life. So I described three particular simple techniques there that you can peruse at your leisure after this training. Don't worry about it if you haven't done it yet. Hi, hi. This is the first people have joined live. Hello, how are you doing? Good evening. So just as an example, the three techniques that I shared this week were the first was how to overcome your inner critic. So that inner critic's voice that a lot of us have, that can be very self-sabotaging. It's a very simple way of dealing with that. There's a way of invoking an emotional state at will, like feeling happy at will, or feeling calm and relaxed at will. It's called anchoring, that is described there as well. And a very useful technique to deal with nerves or anxiety when you're facing an exam, for example, or you're going on a first date with someone you really fancy and you're nervous. You can use this for all these situations. So again, I'm not going to recount the article, read it there yourself. This training is called Make Decisions a Breeze, and it sort of deepens part of, or it continues today's article. Hello, Linda. So now we have more people joining. Hi, that's great. It's great to see. So to start off with, when it comes to decisions in life, before I say anything else, the most important thing about decisions is that you're actually making the decision. Now, this seems painfully obvious, but I've seen people teetering on the edge of a decision for weeks and months, and that is so sabotaging for yourself. There's nothing worse than not making a decision. People can be so afraid and become so paralyzed by being afraid of making the wrong decision that they make no decision at all, and that is always, like in 100% of the cases, that is worse than even taking the wrong decision, the decision that turns out not to be the right one. So whatever else you do, make a decision. If it's a mistake, you'll deal with it, but you need to move forward. You can't stop yourself and paralyze yourself by leaving the decision undecided, unmade. So to give you my advice about how to approach decisions, especially if they're important decisions, like you're in the enviable situation that you have 3 jobs offered to you and you don't know which one to take, or you don't know where you want to live or what you want to do. And there's some real life-changing stuff, right? But even everyday decisions, simple decisions, can be quite hard sometimes. So here is my formula to deal with decisions. It's basically, my recommendation is to involve all parts of yourself, to involve your body, mind, soul, and spirit. There's a lot of conflicting advice about decisions. Some people will tell you have to go with your gut. Just go with your gut, whatever you feel. But then when you make a big decision, especially, you might decide to move to a different country or something, it can be really, really scary. So your gut might just show you the fear, and you can take that as a sign, I'm not supposed to do this. This is the wrong decision for me. Now, it might be, but if you're afraid, it's normal to be a little scared of especially a big decision. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's the wrong decision. If you only use your mind, other people say, just use your mind, make a pro and cons list and decide that way. That's not great either, because the mind doesn't see all. The mind is fantastic and it's a great tool, and you need to think things through, but you need to take all aspects into consideration. I'm giving you a bit of a formula now in the next couple of minutes about how you can employ mind, body, soul, and spirit. We'll start with the mind. When you face a decision, especially if it's a decision that will affect you in the long term, if it's something like a job or where you're going to live, or what person you're with, or whether you move in with somebody or don't, or this kind of life-changing things, it makes sense to use your mind to project yourself into the future. Just think of it long term. Think of yourself 5 years down the line. Play through the different options of your decision in 5 years. So where would you be if you take option A, option B, or option C in 5 years' time? I'll give you an example. You might, it might be a decision about a job, a great job opportunity somewhere in finance in the big city. Now, if your long-term goal is to live in the countryside, like I do, for me, this was a decision I actually made a year and a half ago. I had quite a good job in finance, and it was with a big company, but it was bound to a certain place. And I knew I wanted to be location independent. I wanted to move to the west of Ireland and maybe somewhere else, you never know with me, but it was very important to me that I'm location independent. One of the reasons why I work from home now over the internet, and why I'm a coach, that I work over Skype, is I can be wherever I could live on the moon. If I had internet there, I could still do my job. So this is very important for me. So I didn't pursue that job, and I didn't try to get ahead in that job, but I made a different decision and got a different job. So this is the mind. Project yourself into the future. Now, if you're, for example, thinking, should I take that degree? Should I do that degree, part-time degree, for 3 years? It will be a lot of work. I have a job and I still have to do the degree work, and it will be a lot of work. I will have very little time for everything else. I don't really feel like doing this. Do I want to do this? Again, think three years ahead. The 3 years will pass in any case. 3 years from now, will you be happy that you actually did the degree, that you have it now? This kind of thing. So use your mind to project yourself into the future and play through how your decisions are going to play out. Second is the spirit. Now, that is completely up to you. If you believe, if you have a religious or a spiritual belief, you could be praying for guidance. You could be lighting a candle. You could do a meditation. What's very important is to get through all this over-analyzing and the fear and all the rest, is to center and ground yourself. Meditation is fantastic for that. So I would recommend that. Prayer, if you're religious in that kind of sense, prayer can do the same thing for you. If you're not at all religious, if you're an atheist, you could ask the universe to steer you in the right direction. And a great formula to ask for this is, universe, please show me the way, the decision that is the best, and that is for the highest good of me and everybody else involved. I always add this little disclaimer, this little insurance, for the highest good of me and everybody else involved. The third is the soul, and the way you connect to your soul is through your emotions. So yes, you do have to check at least for your gut feeling. There might be fear, but at least play through, how does it feel? And again, if you feel fear, acknowledge the fear, it is there. And I said this in a training before, and it's such a great check, so I'm just going to briefly repeat this. If the fear makes you feel expansive, if it's like, oh, I'm so scared of moving halfway across the world, but God, it would be so amazing to live there. You feel yourself growing almost. That means it's a good thing. It's a good decision for you. And the fear is just the natural fear of taking a big step. Hi Inga, hello, welcome. Hi Nico. It's great that so many people are joining live. Welcome everyone. But if that fear that you're feeling makes you small and contracted inside, you feel like you just want to withdraw from yourself, then that might actually be a sign that you're about to take a step that is not the right thing for you at that time. So this is how your soul and your emotions can guide you. And the fourth, this is probably the most surprising and the least used by people. How would you involve your body in a decision? And I'm going to promote the heck out of this, because I'm telling you, the body is like your natural lie detector that you were born with. It'll see through the fears, it'll see through the overanalyzing mind, it'll see through all of this stuff. The body gives you unfailing feedback. Muscle testing, Linda just mentions muscle testing, yes. I'll give you just one example. If you have different options, for example, I recently, as you know, reworked my website and my offerings, and I had to set the prices for these offerings. So to decide between those, what I do is, and that links back to today's article with the NLP, because that's something I learned in NLP. So I had 3 different prices for one of my offerings. I didn't know which price to go with. So I wrote all 3 different prices on 3 different sheets of paper. And I spread them out here in this room on the floor. And I went to stand on, I know this sounds weird, bear with me. I went to physically stand on each piece of paper that contained one of those prices, thinking of my offering and holding it in my mind. And I stood on all 3 in turn. And there was one of them, and I'm not going to tell you how it felt, because honestly you will know. Your body will give you feedback. You will feel it somewhere. You will feel it in your stomach, or in your heart, or in your back, or you will suddenly start laughing, or you will suddenly feel very light, or you will suddenly feel very calm and very grounded. It's different for everyone, but you will know. It's like one of those things, you know, when you're in love. When somebody wonders, am I in love with this person or am I not? They're usually not. Because when you're in love, you know. You know. It's just you can't miss it. And it's the same with the decision. Once you stand on the right option for you, on the piece of paper where you wrote down the option, and that is the correct price for you, for your people, for your audience, for your intended audience, for your business, for where you are right now, you will feel that. Try it. It's completely amazing. And that is the one thing that I'd always do. But I wouldn't only involve the body. I would always involve the body, but also use the mind, the spirit, and the soul. Because you have all these faculties, you consist of so much more than just your head or just your heart. Use everything that you have. You are a complex human being for a reason. You can use all these faculties and they will not lead you wrong, especially in combination with each other. So that was the training for today. Don't go yet. Don't go just yet. I have something else for you. Well, first of all, but before we get to that, I'll just read a couple of comments. Give me a second. Yes, yeah. Inga, I hear you. Inga just says that, and I know she's just made a decision to change jobs, and that was definitely a decision like that. Now, I was going to ask you, we always do a concrete action steps, kind of a homework in these trainings, and this might be the first training where I don't actually set you a homework, because if you don't have a decision to make right now, then it's a bit pointless. I would like to encourage you, though, to look around a bit in your life. It doesn't always have to be a life-changing decision. You can use these techniques for any decision. You can just practice them a little bit, even if it's just, you know, where you'll have your lunch, or whether you'll go on whether you'll start working out, or a healthier eating regime, or something like that. So if you do have a decision to make, then I'd like you to share. It would be fantastic if you would want to share what decision in the next day or two you are going to use this process that I just described, of involving all the faculties, and what decision you will apply it on. So if you would like to type it in a comment, I'd love to see it. And in the meantime, while you're thinking and maybe typing, and if you don't have anything, that's fine. Like I said, you might not have a decision right now. I'll tell you what I'll do. So I commit to, I'm currently making a lot of business decisions. I've, like I said, revamped my website and done so many things. And now I have to decide on marketing, how I'm going to put myself out there. And there's so many different ways I can do and they all call to me: guest blogging, public speaking, being a guest expert on webcasts and podcasts and stuff like that. I can see myself running off in all directions at once and completely burning myself out. I mean, I have to be realistic. I have a full-time job and a full-time business and hobbies and passions and people in my life. So I'm going to have to decide on some of that. So I will pick more than one, but less than 5 options in the next 48 hours and actually go ahead with those options for my marketing. So here come the first decisions. Linda decides on a price level for a new offering. That's amazing. Try the thing with the standing on the prices. It's amazing, Linda. It's profound clarity in an instant. Obviously, after taking everything else into account, you have to calculate through your profitability, as you obviously know, and see what people would be willing to pay and what they can realistically pay and all these things. But yeah, that's one great thing to use it on, one great situation. I did it very successfully with my own pricing for my current offers. So if anyone else wants to share, go ahead. Otherwise, even if you're watching this in the replay, if you didn't catch the live session, it would be fantastic if you could share the decision that you want to make in a comment. I'm going to come back to this over the next couple of days and read the comments and reply to them. So here comes Inga. All right. So Inga is a tourist guide, just so you know, and she's going to Paris and has to decide what to show her passengers, because obviously Paris, you could obviously spend 6 months there and see something new every day. There is so much there, and you'll have to decide on that. It's a walking tour, so this is quite a challenge. I'm curious to see what you come up with there, Inga. And Sarah, physical and mental health. Okay. Yep. Yeah, there is this place where you just don't move, where it's like I said, if you don't take any action or any decision, that's the worst thing you could do. So it's great that you're deciding to move forward on that and make a decision on these things. I'm really crossing my fingers for that. Would love to hear about it. If you're willing to share, then send me a message. I'd love to hear about that. So, and if you want to practice one decision, if you don't have anything else to practice, we're coming to the end of this training, but give me another minute. I need to promote my own stuff here. Because if you want to make any decision, then decide that you get coaching. Seriously, decide that you'll put your passions front and center and look at these beautiful offers of mine that I priced so well. No, seriously, I'm not joking. Follow the link in the description of the video. And maybe make it a decision not whether or not you want to invest in yourself and whether or not you deserve that coaching. But decide whether you want to go for the money option first, the wild money training. If you really have trouble finding the money for coaching, then that might be a great place to start, because you're practically guaranteed to make at least that money and probably 2 or 3 times as much back within the 60 days of the coaching program, the amount of money that you spend for it. So it'll be well worth it. Or if you want to go for the passions priority, then go for Wildest Dreams. It's a 90-day program. They're both very reasonably priced, I have to say, and there are payment plans there available. So have a look at it. Get in touch if you want to. You can send me a message here on the Facebook page if you like. I'm always happy to hear from you, or contact me through my website, through the sign-up forms. I'll always get back to you. Thank you so much for joining. If you would like to share something, how you liked this training, whether it was useful or whatever, then please do so. And otherwise, I'm going to log off now. So this video will become unavailable for a couple of seconds, but then I'm posting it, and then you can still comment on it if you like. Thank you so much for the 5-6 people that joined live. That's amazing to have so many people live and not just watching in the replay. I hope I'll see you again next week, same time, same place. And happy decision making. Bye-bye.